Assalamualaikum and a very good morning to all my students. So for our first class lecture, we're going to look at the scheme of work for this subject, followed by assessment that you need to complete within these semesters, and lastly, we're going to look a slight information about the concept of bibliography and bibliographic control. Okay, and this program is meant for IM 110 and IM 120. The course name is access to information IMD 124 credit hour 3 semester 2, and my name is Puan Noazina binti Azmi. Okay, and this is my contact number 019-440-3396. Okay. Okay, so pertaining to this course description class, this course will expose the students to the purpose, methods and tools, access to information, and the mean of controlling available information resources at the national level. Students will be exposed to the current trends and various efforts by national and international institutions and organizations to achieve global access to information. Okay, so predominantly class, this subject is pertaining to bibliography, pertaining to bibliographic control and bibliographic utilities. Okay, so the main issue here is bibliographic control, bibliographic utilities, and of course we have other topics to be covered. Okay, tapi uh, uh, the gist of this subject adalah pertaining to bibliography and bibliographic control. Okay, so before we start with our objective class, objective of this course, okay, let me share with you what is bibliography and what is bibliography control and why we need to have this bibliography control. Okay, the first one is bibliography. So in library science class, in library science and information management field, bibliography is a listing of publications that plays a very vital role in organizations of information and also access to information. Okay, so basically class, bibliography ini are from two Greek words. Okay, so bibliography is originated from Greek. Okay, meaning that biblion, book, and graphein, to write. Alright, so bibliography, for example, bibliography, we have bibliography negara Malaysia, we have bibliography Singapura, okay, we have Australian bibliography, and so forth. So each of the countries, they have their own bibliography. Alright, so when we talk about bibliography class, it is just a listing of publication. Okay, so bibliography negara Malaysia. So when we talk about bibliography negara Malaysia class, this book contains ataupun list all the publication that produced in Malaysia. Okay, for example, we have bibliography negara Singapura. Okay, so this book or bibliography consists of all publications that created in Singapore. So bibliography, we have two formats. Okay, either in printed format or electronic format. Okay, so what is bibliographic control class? Okay, the term bibliographic control refers to the operation by which recorded information is organized or arranged according to established standards and thereby made readily identifiable and retrievable. Okay, bibliographic control describe items held in libraries or databases, facilitate user access to information. Alright, so kita dah ada bibliography class, so we just list all the publication inside this bibliography book or database. Okay, so a bibliographic control is a system or operation by which this listing of information ni we organize properly. Okay, what does it mean by organize properly, class? So meaning that we need to have a standard in order to list this publication. We need to have a systematic order in order to list all these publication in the bibliography. Okay, meaning that we need to have cataloging format. Okay, so this is what we call as a bibliographic control. Okay, so again I repeat last year, bibliography, you just list all the publication created in each countries. Okay, next we need to do bibliographic control. Okay, whereby this bibliographic control, we organize this recorded information. Okay, meaning that we need to do the cataloging. Okay. Alright, so another term of bibliographic control class, yeah, it is a process of organizing information. Okay, so why we need to do this bibliographic control class? Yeah? It is enables a person to look for and obtain the information at any time, every time needed through a systematic accession. Okay, bibliographic control is good for us lah, because we can retrieve the information dengan cepat. Okay, we can find the information from using a keyword, for example, from using author ke, from using a keyword subject ke, and so forth. So these are what we call as a systematic accession. Okay, so far you boleh faham tak kelas? We have bibliography, we have bibliography control. Okay, and then why we need to produce bibliography class? The purpose of bibliographic control is to list information sources in a systematic manner to enable us to become aware of what information is available and where it can be located. Okay, and the last one is why we need to control. Why we need to control this recorded information class? Okay, to provide access to documents, as a guidance in information searching, as an important element for effective reference services, to promote research, to record and expand human knowledge, to avoid duplication in research, to promote cooperation, especially in international and interinstitutional information trading and sharing. Meaning that class, when each of the countries, so they have the proper way of recording their bibliography tu, jadi when you exchange your bibliography to other countries, for example, bibliography negara Malaysia, we want to exchange with Singapore, so it will become easier, meaning that we have the standard format. So Singapore pun they know how to retrieve, access our bibliography negara Malaysia, and we as a nation pun we know how to access their publication, sebab we use the same standards, we use the same cataloging, and we use the same accession. Okay, this is the benefits of bibliography control. Boleh faham tak guys? Okay, so kita balik pada objectives of this subject class. So we have 3 objectives of this subject. The first one is to discuss the concepts and roles of bibliographic control. Okay, so now you have you have the knowledge of what is bibliographic control class kan. Okay, so bibliographic control is to have a system ataupun you organize what we call as our recorded information properly lah, so that everybody can access it, everybody can use it easily. Okay, number 2, display skills of controlling information in bibliographical utilities. Okay, so basically bibliographic utilities is the organization, okay, that deal with this bibliographic control class. Okay, so we will look at this bibliographic utilities later. Okay, so for today I tak nak pening-peningkan you. Okay, so just enough for the introduction of what is bibliography and what is bibliographic control. Okay, and the last one is to explain the purpose of bibliographic control and access to information. Okay, so by right we already explained the purpose of bibliographic control and the access to information. Okay, so the course evaluation. All right, so for this subject class here, we have 4 assessment. Okay, so the first one is test. Okay, 20%, and then this test covers from. Okay, later on we will discuss about the test. Final test 20%, individual assignment 20%, group assignment divided into 2, presentation 10%, and report 30%. So altogether it carries a score of 100. Alright, so these are the 6 chapters that we need to complete within these 14 weeks. Okay, so as you can see from this slide class here, we have chapter 1, which is definition, concept and purpose of access to material that we need to cover starting this week. Inshallah, I will post a video on this chapter 1 class here on Google Classroom. Okay, so I will post it by this week. Okay, so for today's lecture class, we are going to look at the scheme of work, the assessment only. Okay, and the first chapter. Okay, so it is merely about the introduction parts lah, the theory of information, the definition of information, concepts, purpose, how to differentiate between the good and the poor information, what is information explosion, what is information, what is the characteristics of information, and so on. So basically class, this chapter you have learned during your first semester tu. Okay, and then we move to the concepts of bibliographic control. Okay, so this is chapter 2 class. So basically we already touch on the concepts of bibliographic control tadi. Definition of bibliography, definition of bibliographic control, and what is the purpose of having this control. Okay, and next we are going to look at the UBC and BC. So what is UBC and BC? So UBC and BC ni is the level of control. Okay, so later on we will discuss about it lah. And next we have assessment, group project, explanation and requirement. So basically class this group project, explanation and requirement ni, I will do it today. Okay, I will explain all the assessment hari ini lah. Okay, next we have introduction to types of bibliographic tools. Okay, we have bibliographies, index, abstract, union, catalogs, databases. So we will look at each of the types lah. Okay, and bear in mind class yang ini selalu keluar dalam final test, final exam. Okay, so what is bibliographic tools class? Tools that we use in order to help us to access to information. Okay, so for example, in order to access to information, untuk dapatkan maklumat, you use bibliographies, isn't it? And then you use index, you use abstract. Okay, alright, next, organizations involved in bibliographic control activities. Okay, so these are the organizations that involve in bibliographic control. Okay, UNESCO, IFLA, LOC, FID, CONSAL, National Library. So when it comes to the organization involved in bibliographic control activities class, so this is the moment whereby you need to pay attention because it reflects to your group assignment. Okay, so kalau you tak faham, you ada masalah in your group assignment letter. Okay, so make sure you read, you understand, you watch my video pertaining to this subject. Okay, and next we have midterm tests. Okay, so around December we have midterm tests, and then the midterm break. Okay, next we have bibliographic utilities. So what is bibliographic utilities? As I mentioned before, this bibliographic utilities is the organization that deal with the bibliographic control activities. Okay, for example, we have OCLC, AGRIS, INIS, RLG, WLN, Kinetica. Okay, so even though you are not familiar with this abbreviation, you're not familiar with this term, don't worry. Okay, for this particular subject, we just learn about the surface only. Kita tak pergi in depth. Okay, surface only. And this chapter also reflects to your group assignment class. Yeah, so you need to choose two organization from apa nama ni, from bibliographic control activity. So you kena choose two kat sini ya. Choose any two, and then you need to choose any two bibliographic utilities if I'm not mistaken lah. So later on you will look at the assignment assessment. Okay, next kita sambung lagi bibliographic utilities. Okay, for example we have Malaysian National Union Catalogue, MyUniNet, Bliss, Sirimlink, yeah. So these are the local punya kat Malaysia punya organisation that deal with the bibliographic utilities. Bibliographic control. Okay, and the last one is bibliographical control activities for specific materials. Okay, so ini pun popular juga dalam final test and exam. Okay, so you will learn about what is thesis, what is translation, conference papers, patents, technical reports, audiovisual, grey literature, and government publication. Okay, so don't worry much about this subject classes. So basically, it is just merely an introduction. Dia tak pergi this surface sahaja kelas ya. And minggu yang terakhir is our final test. Okay. Alright class, as you can see from this slide class, these are the assessment details of IMD 1 to 4. So it divided into 4 tasks. Yeah? The first one is individual assignment. It carries a score of 20%. Next we have group assignment, 40%. Test 1, 20%, and our final test, 20%. Okay, so let us discuss each of the details. Okay, the first one, individual assignment classes. Students are required to discuss 4 topics that will be given by the lecturer. Okay, so this topic covers the chapter that will be learned every week. Okay, so you need to wait for me lah, to give the topics, the 4 topics. Okay, so each topic is equivalent to 5 marks. Alright, so 5 times 4 is 20%. Okay, so basically class, this individual assignment is merely essay writing. Okay, so you need to write an essay pertaining to topics that given by me. Okay, and group assignment, students are required to form a group of 4. Okay, they need to do research on A, bibliographic utilities and services. Okay, and B, national and international organization involved in bibliographic control activities. Okay, so you tengok balik you punya assessment in more detail. Okay, so in group assignment class we have 2 sections, A and B. Okay, so you need to choose 2 topics from A and 2 topics from B. Mana-mana pun tak apa. Alright. Okay, next we have test 1. So usually this test 1 class covers from chapter 1 to 3 based on the course syllabus lah. Okay, and the last one is final test, and final test covers from chapter 1 sampai habis, iaitu chapter 6. Alright class, so this is your group assignment, 40% class. So you need to work in 2 to 4 members in a group. Okay, and students are required to prepare 1 report consists 4 topics based on the table below. So the report must consist of 2 topics from A. Okay, section A ni you kena pilih from this section A, 2 topics. Okay, and then section B pun sama, 2 only. Okay, let's say you nak pilih Malaysian National Union Catalogue Project and Bliss. Okay, so another 2 from section B, Library of Congress and Consul. Alright. And students are also required to present it through video conferencing tools such as Google Meet and others. Okay, for my class, yeah, I prefer for you to upload your video on YouTube lah. Okay, and then give your YouTube link to me. Okay, so no need to present it through Google Meet or whatsoever, yeah, due to internet constraint and so forth, yeah. So you just upload using YouTube only. Okay, use the electronic sources or printed materials to complete your project. The elements should be included in your project. So these are the elements, yeah, that you need to include in your assignment, in your project. You need to have table of contents, acknowledgements, introduction, history, mission, participation of membership from other bodies, product or services, benefits, future planning, point of view, conclusion, references. Okay, so when it comes to references class, yeah, we as a university level ni, university student ni, we use APA lah. Okay, and marks will be given based on findings, clarity, group commitment, and overall presentations. Reference should be made at the end of assignment using APA. Yeah, and so these are the requirement of the assignment class. So you need to read carefully so that you're not going to miss any important things pertaining to this assignment. And the last assessment is task 2 individual assignment 20%. Okay, so instructions, students are required to discuss 4 topics that will be given by the lecturer. So for these particular topics, you need to wait for me to give the topics via Google Classroom. Okay, so 4 topics ni dia respectively lah. So maksudnya bukan 4 topik sekali harung je ya. So 4 topik respectively every week ke ataupun ada selang-selang dia. So later on I will inform to you student, yeah. So this topic cover the chapter that will be learned every week. Students required to respond by giving their opinions, comments, recommendation and suggestions. Okay, each students will be evaluated based on their active participation and the quality of the feedback in the online discussions. Okay, don't worry much about this assessment class, yeah. Inshallah, I will give you an examples of group assignment and this individual assignment for you to have an early ideas on how to conduct this assessment class. Okay, don't worry much about this. Yeah. Alright, so I think that's all for now, class. Yeah. So inshallah, I will start our class by this week. Okay, give me some time for me to record the video and I will post it on the YouTube, yeah, and the link you can get it from the Google Classroom. And for today's class, yeah, don't forget to fit in the attendance. Okay, I've already gave the link dekat Google Classroom, yeah. So make sure you isi attendance tu for the HEA punya rujukan reference. So kalau you tak isi, meaning that you absent for this class. Okay, so with that class, I thank you and Assalamualaikum. Alright class, so this is the slides that you need to read because this is the gist or what we call as the heart of the subject, because it consists of the introductions of bibliography, what is bibliographic control, and why we need to do this bibliographic control. Okay, so your task is to baca, because inshallah for our blended learning tutorial, I will post the questions and you need to answer it based on the notes. Okay, so make sure you baca class, because this notes ni, okay, this slide is the heart of access to information. So kalau you tak faham, therefore you cannot proceed with other chapters. Alright.